Everyone, Soren Stoll from the Oklahoma City Recruiting Battalion. I'm one of the Reserve Ops NCOs. This is a continuation training on a lot of the Army Reserve programs that are available out there. Today's training is on the Standard Training Program. All right, so references for this is going to be AR 601210, UR 601210. In the AR, it's going to be in Chapter 2, Chapter 5, and Chapter 9. In the UR, it's going to be in Appendix J. Right. So the standard training program is probably the most commonly used program for the Army Reserve enlistments. It covers the most widest variety of the market, from high school seniors, college students, and grads. It's probably the one we are the most familiar with. In this program, soldiers complete basic training in AIT concurrently without any breaks. The IET, so your initial entry training, can last for as little as 15 weeks if it's one of the OSA trainings, 12 Bravo, 12 Charlie, and as long as 60 weeks. Some of our medical positions and MI positions go that long. Soldiers do not come home in between trainings. The only exception is going to be Christmas Exodus. All right, so the options for standard training program, you can serve for as long as 8 years, 8 years as an active drilling reservist, 0 in the IRR, 7 as an active drilling reservist, 1 in the IRR. The most common, 6x2, and this is the most common because it yields the most benefits and incentives. This is where the minimum enlistment to get a lot of the extra money. And so as you see there, everything above this line qualifies for Select Reserve, GI Bill, and TA. And then everything below the line only qualifies for TA. And that's going to be your 5x3, 4x4. And then the bottom one, the 3-year active drilling reservist with 5 years in the reserve. This is the shortest enlistment for a non-prior service applicant. All right, so let's start off. Why 3-year enlistment? Why would somebody want to do that? For some of you, you're probably thinking like that doesn't make sense. One, it's the shortest contract available. In my time out here, I've had a lot of people just ask me that question: what's the absolute shortest amount of time I can enlist? What's my minimum commitment? And this is it. It's the shortest amount. Your time starts the day you enlist, just like every other reserve contract. So 3 years from the day that you signed up, you're going to be exiting the Army Reserve if you so choose. It's training's encompassed in that 3 years. Unlike the regular Army 3-year enlistment, where it's 3 years plus training, this is 3 years with training. So for some people, that's an appeal. 6 years seems like a long time. It's a better part of a decade. For younger kids, 18, 19, even 20 years old, 6 years that's a third of their life. So it seems like a long time. 3 years is not as intimidating. You still qualify for tuition assistance and credential assistance. We'll get into that here after we talk about the MOSs. This morning I did a quick search in FSR2 using the scores from a mid-level Bravo and a high Alpha, and I searched a lot of the reserve hotspots throughout the country to come up with this list, because you won't find a comprehensive list anywhere within the regulations or anything, at least nothing I could find. So as you can see, quite a few of the engineer positions are there. 25 Bravo IT specialists, MPs there, financial management specialists, human resources, medic is there. A lot of your mechanics and maintenance positions are there. So there's a wide variety of jobs available for such a little enlistment. So why is this important? A few years ago, I had a young man came in. He wanted the shortest amount of enlistment to be a 25 Bravo. He already had something lined up that if he could be a 25 Bravo, he was going to be hired by Cisco to do some sort of IT stuff. He just needed the background in. He just needed the background from the Army to be able to get that position. The security clearance and all that stuff was what was going to secure him that position. So now with the advent of credential assistance, going Army wide, at the first of the year, so now it's even more beneficial for someone like him that was just looking to get that training and then go out and get some of the certificates and credentials. He'd be able to use credential assistance to go get his CompTIA or his CCNA or some of those other certifications that would make him more marketable. And the same thing goes for, like the carpentry and masonry specialist, go get some of the licensures that might be needed to get in on, some of the union carpenters, things of that, get some of the ASE certifications, needed for the 91 Bravos to be able to get out there and work with that. So a lot of different opportunities there with the 3x5. 6x2 wine list for at least for 6 years. This is where you're going to package together the most incentives. So your bonus money, your select reserve, GI Bill kicker, and your student loan repayment. You have to do at least 6 years to be able to qualify for those incentives. Now, so for somebody that's going to, looking at a 4-year university, this is probably the best bet for them. You need to serve for at least 6 years to get the select reserve GI Bill. And then you also have the full MOS range available to you with a 6-year enlistment. So all those extra medical jobs and the military intelligence jobs, a lot of the tech jobs too that you didn't see on the last slide, they're all available for a 6x2. So I only talked about 3x5 and 6x2 because there's no real point of doing a 4x4 because there's nothing extra that you get. And the same thing goes for a 7x1 or an 8x0. There's just not much, that you're going to get above what you would get on a 3x5 or a 6x0. All right, to kind of summarize what we got going on here, there are many options when it comes to the Army Reserve. Too often, we want to put these people into our little box of the brick and mortar state school type applicants. We want to do that because that's the only way we know how to sell the Army Reserve. It's been drilled into our head that you only do the reserve, to go to college. So that's what we're out there looking for. And while that might be the greater part of the market, we're missing opportunities by not understanding what the Army Reserve has in total for options. So, understand what your applicants are telling you, listen to what they're saying and provide them the best course of action. It's not necessarily what you want. You can give them your professional opinion, but if 3 years is what they're telling you, then let them enlist for 3 years. Do some market analysis of your area because your area might tell you, that the 3x5 may be what you should lead off with versus the 6x2. Only you can know that, but it's something to consider. Another thing to look at, if I hear from a lot of you telling me like, oh, the National Guard is, they own my area, I can't compete. Well, the National Guard is going, they're going hard with the 6x2 because you need to do at least a 6x2 to get their little bread and butter, their little piece of glean, the state tuition program. So if you feel like you can't compete, then let's try the 3x5 and try to get a different part of that market. Because that's not something they're going to go out and try to lead off with. Try to capture a different part of the market. It's an option to try to get around that. All right, if you guys have any questions, feel free. Shoot me an email. You see it right there, brian.j.stoa.mill@mail.mil. Any questions you might have about this program or other programs that have been talked about, just let me know. Give me your feedback. I'd be happy to help you out.